Happy Sunday, everybody! Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas. We're getting to that holiday spirit. You know it. I know it. We're getting excited. I'm recording this while I got all the games going on. My Raiders don't play till 4:25, so I figured I'd hop on here. All day football yesterday. How great is this? We're in America, baby, and we got football all day long. I had no complaints. I was flipping back and forth between channels. It's crazy. They're going to have Netflix games next week. Holy shit. But it is holidays. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to everybody. And hopefully you guys are doing well. Stay safe and safe travels out there for all my fans and everybody that I know. So, I wanted to start off. I got the two NFL games I want to hit, and then I just want to catch on all the college football, what I noticed yesterday. So, Texans Chiefs was the first window of game yesterday for the NFL, and I'll get to the Steelers and Ravens in a second. So the Texans Chiefs, to me, it was a tale of two teams to me. In Kansas City, they keep getting away with this. I don't know how, but they still are winning. They look good. They got Hollywood Brown yesterday back. They got Hopkins. They got some weapons now for Mahomes to play with. So that's a good thing. But the one thing I have concerns with right now is what's the health of Chris Jones. That ankle injury yesterday, really devastating in terms of what they do on defense. He was out for 2 games last year, holding out. And then they had the first game of the year against the Lions in Arrowhead to represent the Chiefs, obviously winning their Super Bowl against Philadelphia 2 years ago. And I noticed something that their defense is not the same without Chris Jones. He is a multiplier of sins that you have on defense. If your back end isn't great, the pass rush can get there. So, again, a lot of stuff I noticed yesterday. And listen, Mahomes is just something. He is great. He's a great talent. And I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. I can't doubt him anymore. He just comes through the clutches, and it's very New England light. But except Andy Reid is more creative and getting the offensive kind of feel to the game. Obviously, it was Belichick leaning that way when he coached, but again, near the end, it kind of faded, more offense-driven. So the other thing that I noticed with the Chiefs yesterday, and it's so cool, Drew Tranquil. I know Jack Tranquil pretty well. He's my buddy. I know him at the gym. Love you, bro. He's a really good kid, and I'm happy for him. Fort Wayne kid, playing in the NFL, it's a dream. That's awesome. And Tranquil's a badass, cool player. My dad always keeps mentioning to me, he's like, man, he went from the Chargers, kind of, not a loopy franchise to a great one. It's awesome, and I'm happy for him. And he's a baller. And their linebacker, Chanel, UW, Wisconsin kid, baby, balling. Nick Bolton. They just got a different range of linebackers. I was hearing on the broadcast yesterday, and I see it in their defense. They hit, they're fast, they're physical. Even their secondary players are really good. McDuffie was one of my favorite players coming out of Washington. And the long line of really good defensive backs coming out of there. Buda Baker, who I've mentioned before on the pod, one of the most underrated players in football, and a bunch of other guys. So, great win for the Chiefs yesterday. They continue to get the home field advantage in Arrowhead. We'll see if their luck runs out. Enjoy it while you can, Kansas City, because it's like Michael Jordan with the Bulls or Brady with the Patriots, man. Enjoy this while you can. And I don't think it's rigged. Some of the calls are bullshit. I'll give you that. But you just got to play smarter as a football team. And I want to shift over to Houston. So, to recap that game, the Chiefs, to me, are a well-run organization. They're well-run, and they just got something going right now. And enjoy this while you can, because this will run out quicker than you expect. The dynasties in this league do not last long. There's a salary cap, so as long as you got Andy Reid, Brett Veach, and that brain trust up there in Kansas City, you should be in good shape. But I wanted to flip over to Houston yesterday. A couple things jumped out to me as I was watching the game. I was working. I worked a little bit yesterday to make some extra money, salt that money. And then I was kind of just watching the games. I was kind of coming home, relaxing, kind of napping a little bit, trying to catch up with some sleep. So I had some thoughts going in that Houston game. And early on, CJ Stroud threw that pick. I went, oh, God help us. Oh, God, here we go. And then Kansas City kind of hopping out. Houston scored. And then it was kind of like back and forth, seesaw, white knuckle thriller. And then Kansas City kind of took over in the second half. But what I noticed with C.J. Stroud, and listen, I'm a C.J. Stroud guy. I like him a lot. And now it was very uneven, that draft. If I recollect my recollection, I'm trying to can't caught my tongue here. If it's true, I do believe that C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are going to be linked together. Now, who's going to have the better career? I don't know. It was a slam dunk this past year. Yep, C.J.'s better than Bryce. And that may be true in the rookie year. But this year, they scale him back. Now, I could blow this. This is a lot of context to me with C.J. Stroud. He's not seeing things like he was last year. They're getting tape on him. This is what happens when you're a rookie. Nobody knows who you are. And then second year, these coordinators get tape on you. Okay, this is what he doesn't do well. This is what he does well. Let's speed it up a little bit so he gets rattled. And I'm noticing with CJ, and listen, he's taking a lot of sacks this year. 45 to be exact. They showed it on the broadcast yesterday. I'm not exaggerating and not bullshitting. He's got to, they got to play better up front. I know they've had a lot of guys shuffling in and out. I think I saw a stat yesterday. It was like 18 different line combinations. I was telling my dad, it's just awful. You got to be better in terms of that with the Texans. And I go back to something that they did in the offseason, which I didn't love. They got Stephon Diggs, and that was dumb to me. You should have gotten offensive linemen. You should have done that. Now, Houston was a playoff team, so obviously you weren't going to get Joe Alt and those kind of type talents, obviously those tackles and everything like that. In the first round, usually go in those first 10 to 15 picks. I understand that from that perspective. And listen, I'm not trying to shit on Houston today. But again, they kind of feel like they won the division, but there's an asterisk to it. I'm not quite bought in. And with Tank Dillon's injury, and I just want to pray. God, please hope Tank Dell recovers. Amen. That was ugly yesterday. Remind me of Rashee Rice in the Chief Charger game this year. Teammate taking out somebody. It was just a sad, sad day for the Texans. And for a team that is kind of reeling right now in terms of their depth at receiver. They still got Robert Woods, who's been in the league, I feels like, forever. Still moving the chains, doing that. Dalton Schultz is an excellent tight end. I should have played him in fantasy yesterday. I'm an idiot. Besides the point. And they got players. So this is not like a man overboard, Houston's a bum organization. No. I've applauded them, and I think D'Amico Ryans is a rocket ship. Will Anderson's a beast. They're balling yesterday. He was all over Mahomes. And, the other thing I didn't mention with Kansas City is they did something really smart. They moved Joe Tooney to left tackle. That's going to help a lot because that's a game changer right there. If you didn't move him to left tackle, you were going to have the same problems. You just were. So I want to get back to Houston, though, because that was a thought I had. But C.J. Stroud, to me, this is what I fear if I'm a Texans fan. Please do not make this man David Carr. High draft pick. Offensive line was awful. Which, again, a lot of times you go to a shitty organization when you're top, 1 or 2 pick. I get it. Caleb with the Bears, Joe Burrow, you know what I'm saying. But I think about this on my walk this morning. Do not turn this kid into David Carr. Because David Carr, we said the same thing. A lot of promise, talent, and they got sacked so much, he got so hit and so beat up, he just at some point said, I'm out. I can't do it anymore. And this is what I worry about Houston. And you better do it. Because if you don't start protecting this kid better, same shit's going to happen. And I know Bobby Slow wants to pass, and he comes from that Shanahan offense. I understand that completely. I get it. But when your quarterback can't complete a pass and your offensive line's getting smoked, what's the point of the fucking throw game? So, just something to keep an eye on. They still are going to make the playoffs. They clinched the division. Good for Houston. Other teams in that division take notice. That's the model. You got to get the coach quarterback right, and then everything else solves itself. And good ownership. So, the other game I wanted to touch on was Ravens-Steelers. Steelers in Baltimore yesterday. And, I was kind of back and forth with that game. And I had a thought yesterday, man. That is what football is all about. The cold weather, get December. These teams fucking hate each other. It's just black and blue. Niners, Seattle, and Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh were playing against each other. Going back to USC, Stanford. You name it. I'm all for this kind of football this time of year. White knuckle, smacking, hitting, let's go. Cold weather. I felt it, man. And I think this Ravens team, for real. Now, listen, they've stirred up some things. And this is what happens when you're a really good organization. I heard this point this morning. Is that when you have kind of some deficiencies, you quicken them up and you fix them. So that you're not paralyzed by, oh my God, I got an issue. Oh my God. I think the Ravens are in that boat. And they have done such a great job at, first of all, Lamar Jackson's incredible. He's playing even better this year than it is last year in that MVP year, which wasn't really a great MVP year, but Lamar won it. Now, it's still going to be determined. You got to win the playoffs, Lamar. Very Peyton Manning early, and I love Peyton Manning, but that was the narrative on him. So, again, I think the Ravens, and listen, Bateman took a while to develop as receiver. He's gotten a lot better. Solid player. Mark Andrews, I know about since Oklahoma. Stud. Isaiah Likely. Lord, he's a beast. Zay Flowers, a little mini dude. He's a stud. Yak mover. Move the chains and crossers deep down the field. And Lamar's just gotten so much better in the passing game. And listen, does it help when you have Derrick Henry? Absolutely. One of the best free agent signings of all time. Balls were running for like $9 million. I mean, that's crazy to me. But that's how great and an impact he's had. And he had an impact yesterday. I'm not disputing that. Derrick Henry doesn't have an impact on this football team. He does. But it comes back to this with the Ravens Steelers. This is what I love about football. The physicality, the toughness. I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to inflict so much pain on you. And that was a great game yesterday. And, early on, I was like, all right, Baltimore's going to kick their ass. It's okay. It's 7-7. And then Pittsburgh fumbled. And I'm thinking with Russ, who's so good with self-awareness and so key, fumbled yesterday. That was an awful time to fumble. I just, slide, dude. Get fucking down. And I heard Mike Tomlin talking to him like, dude, you got to get down. Okay? You got to relax a little. Sometimes at work, I got to be told, breathe a little because my brain's sped up. And I think Russell yesterday felt that. So, and then the Ravens, I thought, it was back and forth. It was seesaw like these Ravens-Steeler games always are. Jesus Christ, it feels like that ever since my life. Now, since 2007 to now, I feel like those Raven games against the Steelers have always been 13-9, 23-20, black and blue physical football, and I love that. AFC North football is king, and I love it. Now, if only the Browns and the Ravens the Browns and Bengals get their shit together, then we're talking. Then you got 4 teams in that division. They're elite. Like the NFC North this year. Bears are struggling. But they got a whole other fucking set of issues. God help us. But, in Cincinnati, whatever you say about them. So I feel like AFC North and NFC North are the best division in football. And there's a reason for that. The coaching, the toughness, they're outdoors. I love that kind of football. And every once in a while, I need a black and blue kind of game. And that fit it yesterday. Bears, Packers, Lions, Bears, what it's turning into. Especially with the 2 cities, Detroit, Chicago. You kind of fit that ethos of Midwest. So I do think the Ravens, it was a great win yesterday, impressive. I thought Steelers were coming back. Russell was looking good, and then he throws that pick 6, and then it just kind of snowballed. But congrats to the Ravens. Max Lawson, congrats to you, brother. You guys are playoffs. After a shaky start to the season, you guys know how to get to the winner's circle, and you guys are a great organization. So I want to touch on Pittsburgh, though. I'm really disappointed. And listen, Mike Tomlin deserves a lot of credit. He made the move to Justin Fields. It's obviously been a great move. I get all that. But this team, man, I'm wondering about their defense because I've been seeing this lately. They showed a stat yesterday. I think it was Brady. And it was like the first 9 weeks, they were just so good in the red zone defense. Last 2 weeks, I don't even know who the hell they are. And they got dudes everywhere. They got their pass rush. They're good in the linebacking core like they've always been in Pittsburgh for my life. But it goes back to this back end, and it just is so decimated right now. And I get it. So, again, you're going to struggle with Lamar. But with the struggle with Lamar thing, you've corralled him in these meetings. Like, Lamar has struggled against Pittsburgh. So, I don't know what's going on, what happened yesterday, but I think they ran into a buzzsaw. I think Baltimore was pissed as hell they lost in Pittsburgh. And, with the Renegade plan and all that Baltimore's like, all right, come to our house. You wanna fucking be the tough guy? Let's go. So I felt like that was the game yesterday for Pittsburgh. Now listen, they're still going to make the playoffs. They might win a game. I don't know. But it's becoming really clear to me, and I know my dad and I talk about this. I'm very repetitive on this. I just don't know with Tomlin. And he just leaves you so much wanting more, and I just wonder, is it time? I think it's time. Like, listen, you got him a Super Bowl. And the one thing that I know about the Packers and the Steelers, they've always been linked to each other. Small markets, now Green Bay more so than Pittsburgh. But I'm starting to feel it. Like, Green Bay's been more successful than you lately. They've been to playoff games. Now, I'm not saying they win the Super Bowl. It's been a while since both have won the Super Bowls. No question. But I'm saying Green Bay and their philosophy and their approach is more offense-driven. Get the offense coach right. And I'm not saying Pittsburgh's bum in that sense. They're not. But, man, I saw a difference, too, yesterday without George Pickens. I mean, that guy is the Nico Collins of C.J. Stroud. They have to have him, or else the stir, C.J. obviously is a shake, but he's the straw that drinks, that stirs it. And I just felt like yesterday, not having George Pickens in there, that deep threat. I mean, they got Calvin Austin's making plays, but he's a fucking 5'9", 185 soaking wet guy. So, a lot of things I got to see. So, but to Pittsburgh, man, like, how much longer are you going to take of this? Like, it's time to move on. I've appreciated Mike Tomlin, and I think he's great. But it's time to move on. Let's move on. Let's get some new juice in there, new blood. But again, Pittsburgh probably won't do it. They're too loyal. But my takeaway from that game is Pittsburgh's still a playoff team, but a lot of question marks to me after watching that game yesterday. Their defense, Russell Wilson, the inconsistencies on the offense. They could be great. They could be down. I think Arthur Smith's done a nice job as offensive coordinator. That fits him more than a head coach, and that's okay. Some guys are meant to be head coach, some guys aren't meant to be coordinators. So that was what I noticed yesterday in the NFL games. But I wanted to switch over to college because I got a lot of takes I've got to say on here. So Friday night started, Notre Dame, IU. And what a badass atmosphere, man. These home field advantages in college football, are you kidding me? Notre Dame, under the lights, cold as fuck. Hell yeah! Let's go! Woo! Sign me up. I'm for it. Let's go. I knew a lot of people at that game, and I knew from the jump, man, the first 5 minutes of that game, Notre Dame's going to kick IU's ass. And, I saw the Notre Dame. I was coming home from the gym. I got home, and I missed a few minutes of the first game, but then I went back today and I watched it. And I just thought, first play of the game, and that run defense for IU was so good all year, and then Notre Dame just gashed it. And they have been a factory of NFL talent for as long as I can remember. Now, we can argue if they're overrated and all this. I get it. But Marcus Freeman knows what he's doing, and I think he's an excellent coach. And, can this formula translate? No, they got a lot of things formula-wise that I watch with Notre Dame, and I'll get to IU in a second. Is that I feel like Notre Dame has a lot of components that I really, really, really like. I love the physicality they have. I love the toughness on both lines of scrimmage. That Wiley guy at defensive end tackle looks like a J.J. Watt poor man's. He's just relentless, energy, all that. And listen, that Riley Leonard can have his moments as a passer, but when he's on and that run game's clicking, he just needs to complete some passes. They're a scary team. Watch out. Now, I'm not saying they're Lou Holtz's Notre Dame team. That's not what I'm saying. But they have a lot of components to winning football right now. Defense, run game, physicality, toughness. Those four, get you to win the circle. And it was just a cool atmosphere yesterday with Notre Dame, and I'm happy as a proud Notre Dame Irish fan. On the IU side, listen, I don't want to shit on Curt Cignetti, okay? Listen, I'm all for speaking your mind, being authentic. I let it rip. I'm kind of unfiltered sometimes. I say, fuck it, who cares? And I get it. And self-awareness does matter to me. But I am excited for IU football moving forward. However, I'm just going to be candid. Let's be honest. You shouldn't have been in that game. And listen, they had great moments this year. And listen, you beat Nebraska. Yippee-ki-yay. That's great. But you also didn't play the three new teams in your conference. You didn't play USC. You didn't play Wisconsin. You didn't play any of those. And the 2 times you played up to your weight level, you got punched in the mouth. And for as much smack as Curt Cignetti does, listen, I'm all for it. If you can back it up, go. You go do you, bro. I don't care. He didn't back it up. And I got to very criticize him. The punt on 4th and 11. I mean, just some of the boneheaded, stupid football things. Riley Leonard running out of bounds, and then he shoves him 4 feet after. What are you doing? It's dumb football. You don't do that. So, listen, IU had a lot of great things this season. But, man, these teams next year are coming out for blood on IU. So, IU, you can enjoy this now and cherish it. I know it's a disappointing end of the season. But, man, you guys better button the hell up because you think you're going to be a one-year wonder. Yeah, you're going to get a rude awakening, my guy. Better do something soon. So, Notre Dame, I hope they can beat Georgia. I don't know if they will or not. Georgia might be too much of a task, but at least they got a playoff win. We'll see come New Year's Day. I'll be watching that game for sure, and I'll give you guys my reactions to that later on. So, the second game I wanted to touch on was Clemson in Texas, in Austin. It was cool yesterday. Matthew McConaughey, all right. I was trying to do an accent there. I didn't do a great job of that, but it was cool yesterday. And, Quinn Ewers is polarizing to me. He's got moments where I like him, moments I don't. Obviously looked a little better yesterday without the knee brace. But Texas, man, they got that offensive line that just leans on you. I thought early on, I'm like, holy shit, Clemson's going to beat Texas in Austin? Woo! I mean, they were running that touchdown. They ran the mesh concept, and the guys were getting caught in guard, and And it was great first drive for Clemson. I couldn't believe they were taking 20 minutes off that clock. I'm like, holy shit. And then, they went on that, Tech said that 21-7 run, and it was 21-10 Clemson. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's something going. We'll see. And then all of a sudden, second half hit, and Clemson started coming back. And I'll say this about Clay Klubnik. Now, it's funny, they went back and forth on the broadcast. They both were playing against each other in the Texas State Championship game. All that, I get it. But, man, there's something about that Klubnik guy I love. He's a gamer. He's tough. He got sacked a couple times yesterday. He's not the biggest guy. He's got a composure, a poise to him, makes throws on the run, all this stuff. And he's a great runner. Unlike Riley Leonard, he's pretty accurate to me when I watch. There's something with Klubnik I like, and Clemson had a fight yesterday. But man, Texas showed in the second half. This is why they're really good. And take out the Georgia games this year, which Georgia's hard for anybody. Texas is really good, and Sark knows what he's doing. And it's nice to see Texas kind of back after being down for so long and all the bullshit. Too many people in the cookie jar. Awesome. So, good for Texas. They're going to play Arizona State, I believe, if the seeding's right. I got Texas in that game. I just think Arizona State's been a nice story this year, but like IU, they kind of hit their ceiling. They don't have a lot of NFL bodies. So, the other game, I want to go to Clemson side. So, listen, Dabo Swinney's a polarizing guy, too. Obviously, he's won 2 natties. One with Trevor Lawrence, one with Sean Watson, beat Alabama twice. Suck it, Paul Feinbaum. Woo! Kermit the Frog, look him, dude, that motherfucker. But the point is that I'm excited for what Clemson has coming forward. Now, can Cade Klubnik, do this encore one last ride with this team? I believe they can. And Clemson's still going to recruit well. This is not like a talent issue in Clemson. But I do wish sometimes with Dabo, you got to get in the transfer portal, dude. Every dabble in it, man. I'm not saying go all in. You got a budget that's good. South Carolina's a hotbed for talent. Hell, South Carolina, your own state, was balling. So I just feel like, to me, Clemson's going to be good. And as long as they got Klubnik and they got some guys, they're going to be pretty good. And I just feel like I got a lot of momentum going with Clemson right now. And obviously they're playing a shitty conference. I don't think Miami's going to be as good as they were this year because it was the Cam Ward show and all that offensively. And defensively, they were kind of a sieve at times. So we shall see. And speaking of which, I'm talking about the ACC. I want to get into the SMU Penn State game. Oh, my God. SMU should never have gotten in. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not on the committee. I get it. But as a consumer, that was pathetic yesterday. Now, Kevin Jennings, he's a highlight. I love Kevin Jennings, the quarterback. Now, he had 3 picks yesterday. They were awful. God-awful pick sixes. He threw 2 of them, and then he threw a last one. Awful. Got all that. But I will say this. That kid kept fighting. He didn't fold. He kept playing. And I love that quarterback. He's got a short memory. Flush that shit down. We'll go back in the film room the next day. I love that about Kevin Jennings. And he's only a sophomore, so next year he can obviously come out. But got to add more weight on that frame. A little slender for me. But I think, anything that I don't know the SMU program. I didn't watch any SMU besides the AC Championship game and what I watched yesterday. And just the white atmosphere was cool yesterday. So it was a fun, good time. But SMU, great season, great story. But you're going sent home. And good year for SMU. But flip over to Penn State, man. That is an absolute avalanche yesterday. The whiteout was cooking. It was cold. It felt like just cool weather yesterday. And, I'll say this with Penn State. They are very much a running football team that just overwhelms you. And with Tyler Warren, and the receivers aren't great, but Drew Aller can put it there. And I'll get to him in a second because he's very polarizing. I'm glad he's going back to school because, to me, I don't think he would have been in the high picks. Now, next year, if he can continue to get the mechanics and the footwork down, because I noticed that yesterday, he's missing balls, and I'm like, Drew, what are you doing? The guy's open, and he's just airmailing. I think mechanics get a little sloppy, footwork, all that stuff. You got to work on it. It's okay. But I'm glad he's coming back for another year because I don't think if he come out, he'd be like the Drake May experiment this year for the Patriots. Needs a lot of tuning up, but you could see the physical traits. And I saw that yesterday with Drew Aller. 6'5", 238, big, mobile kid, tough, from Ohio, from that pipeline of talent there. They're going to be okay. So Penn State plays Boise State. I'm going to take Penn State. Again, Boise State, nice story. But Again, that game, had you put Alabama on that spot, it would have been more competitive. Hell, I would have thrown South Carolina in there yesterday. With that quarterback balling and that defensive line nasty with a bunch of NFL bodies in it, I would have taken that. So that was my takeaway from that game. Penn State, moving on. SMU, great season, going home. The last game I wanted to touch on was Ohio State and Tennessee last night. And early on, I knew from the jump this was going to be a bad matchup for Tennessee. Just because of the explosiveness of Ohio State. It was going to be a cold night. They can't run the football. It's hard to run on them. But I was shocked that they ran the ball good on Tennessee. I don't know what happened to Tennessee last night. My cousins probably need to give me a better explanation if I run into them, because that was pathetic last night of a Josh Heupel team that I've been a fan of Josh Heupel. And my dad's watching. He goes, man, that doesn't look like a in-shape guy. And I said, well, you used to play quarterback at Oklahoma. And, he was like, oh, my God, really? Yeah. But Tennessee's still a good program. This isn't a shitting on him. And I think Nico coming back, he's only a freshman, thank heavens, he's going to get more developed. And, listen, they got good receivers last night. I thought they were going to sling that pill around all night, but they didn't. And I kind of was doubting Ohio State. I'm not a Ryan Day guy. It's just because I think, he woke up on third base. Jim Harbaugh said that. I agree. But last night proved to me Ohio State is still daddy in college football. They're always going to be a big brand. Notre Dame, Ohio State, it's not going away. Ryan Day proved a lot of people wrong. If he lost that game, he would have lost his job. After losing 4 years in a row to Michigan, awful, not good. But I think rubber's going to meet the road come this weekend in the matchup, Oregon, Ohio State, rematch again. So I'm going to take Oregon in that spot. Listen, Ohio State is really good, and I'm not trying to shit on Ryan Day. But, man, I don't know. Something's off with that Ohio State team. And listen, Will Howard's okay. I'm not in love with him. But, man, last night was just an ass-beating avalanche from the jump. And Tennessee just couldn't get on it. So, a lot of question marks with Tennessee. But they're still in good shape. They got Nico coming back. Their offensive line, I've heard, is relatively new. I don't know much about it. So, we'll see what happens. But Ohio State's moving on. Tennessee is obviously done for the season. It's a shame. So, thank you guys for joining me. I know it was a longer session today, but I just had a lot of stuff I had on my mind when it comes to football. Merry Christmas to all. Have a Happy New Year. Stay tuned throughout the week. I know Christmas is here. I got family shit going on. I'll stay tuned with the content. But talk to you guys soon. Hit the like, subscribe, share button on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all my outlets. And talk to you guys soon. Have a great Sunday.